Yeah, we've had several healthcare companies. One of the struggles that they've had is diagnostic models.
Yep.
And then, what is the accuracy in real world settings? And then not just accuracy in real world settings, but the accuracy in test environments. So a test environment was amazing, and then real world was shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And, some of the solutions to this, I think, is if we integrated Tartle's Real Intelligence API, we could collect direct feedback from practicing
Patients.
physicians, not only the practicing physicians, but then we could gather zero-party data from patients about symptoms and medical history context, and then we close that feedback loop.
Yes, need health records,
Because the physician's seeing that they're getting consent from the patient,
which
and
is
from them.
huge.
And then vice versa, you're getting patient consent. So what type of trust did you just build? And how valuable is that?
And you did it all with accessing data. That data was that unlock to create this bridge. And now it's going to become more normalized in that world. Physicians will want to adopt your technology.
Yeah, because that's the problem now. None of them want to even have a conversation about this.
No,
They don't trust it. They
They're,
don't want to.
they're 20 miles away from it.
Yes.
A doctor has to go in and say, can I do this to you? Do you consent to this? They've lived in that world.
Right.
The data must match that for also how it's being sourced. And you can have those valuable unlocks if you're in the healthcare industry, trying to train your AI models. You're required to do it. Whatever it may be, Tartle can help you with finding a solution.
Yeah, and you're not only just your chief data officers, but those in the medical industry. We've had these conversations over and over again, and when the unlock happens, it's funny in the Zoom call when we have this, and then they kind of connect to like, shit, the consent, that's the key. And then
wait, we can do this.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so funny when you watch that,
because
the
many
light
of you,
bulb, and having high false positive rates, and that can cause customer friction. I've experienced this myself.
No, it
with
sucks.
American Express. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When also think about like facial recognition they did in New York City that was illegally targeting like Muslim people.
Yes.
It's the same sort of thing that happens here in fraud.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these ideas of their model, and the data that they've brought in is putting in false flags,
Yes.
or false positives. And what you're going to find here is that if you ask people, this is cool. If you start to collect data on how people lie or how they would be fraudulent,
Yes,
you're starting to train the model. You're starting to see a lot of cool things, but much of the fraud detection stuff deals with time on page, where you're clicking, how you're scrolling, how you're actually interacting with it. But just because of the way I interact with something doesn't necessarily make someone fraudulent.
Yes.
Some people could be inquisitive.
Right.
Sometimes when I use a page that is in like financial services, because I'm inquisitive and looking around, I get marked as fraudulent. Or because I try to use data privacy practices that are good for me, like a VPN, I get knocked. I get blocked. But that doesn't seem right. Again, it lacks that context. So you can actually reduce these false positives. You can get that data from people. You can help them train your systems
Yes.
to be more robust and accurate when something is truly fraudulent.